What if I told you that you're losing fights in video games because you're not breathing? Or rather, you're not breathing properly. Well, this post I found online the other day talks about just that. It claims that you're losing in video games because you're not breathing at the correct times, nor in the correct way. And as any other gamer who also frequently loses fights in games, because I'm not very good, I was intrigued. I mean, think about it. Could I have avoided like hundreds of hours hard stuck silver if I just breathed properly? And what kind of breathing technique is this? Am I gonna have to adopt some impossible breathing technique like in Demon Slayer, or do I just need to breathe slower? And what's up with that? And if it is some highly skilled breathing technique, then forget it. I mean, I can't master that. But if it's as simple as inhaling and exhaling faster at different times, then maybe it's worth a try. So I rushed to the internet, of course, and found the study that the post was referring to. So the study actually measured a lot more than just their reaction time, but the main parameter that they measured is actually reaction time, and that's what's relevant to gaming because everything else was something else. So what they did is they had the participants do a range of tasks, like distinguish between two pitches, complete some visual motion task, and then do some memory and emotional discrimination tasks. But what's important about these tasks is that they told the participants to respond as quickly and as accurately as possible, and that way they can measure their reaction time. So that's what we care about, reaction time, right? When you're peeking an angle, you want to know how fast can I react to that, right? And the result they found was interesting, but also a bit confusing when I first read it. So they told people to breathe naturally. They didn't give them some special instructions on some technique for breathing. They just told them breathe as you normally do. And the difference between inhaling and exhaling when the stimulus was introduced had no effect on the reaction time. So, in other words, stimulus shows up. Let's say the person is exhaling. They're going to have the same reaction time as someone who was inhaling when that stimulus showed up. Okay, fine. But let's say that instead they're inhaling or exhaling right as they press the button, right? Because what they do is they see a stimulus and then they press a button. So instead of inhaling or exhaling right when they see the stimulus, now they're inhaling or exhaling right as they press the button. So right when they react to said stimulus. And what they found here was actually significant. The people who exhaled right as they pressed the button actually had faster reaction times than people who inhaled right as they pressed the button. So what they're saying is that people actually got to pressing the button quicker if they were exhaling. Now, if you're confused like I was, I'll explain this in video game terms. Let's say right when you're peeking someone, you're going to have a quicker reaction time if you're exhaling at that moment. If you're inhaling, you might die, right? Like there's a significant enough difference that your reaction time might cause you to lose the fight. Now, this raises a chicken or egg type of question. Is the breathing the thing that's causing the faster reaction time? Or is the reaction time, right, which might come from the skill of the player, causing this specific breathing pattern? And we don't know, right? I mean, we can't confirm that. The study does say that although this could be causal, it's complex and we really can't make any major conclusions. Now, unfortunately, this study raises a lot more questions that we can't answer, as do most studies like this about gaming. For example, we also don't know if the breathing has to be involuntary or if it can be trained. And they told participants to breathe naturally, and they tended to inhale upon stimulus and onset, and they tended to exhale upon the response, but this wasn't always the case. And in complicated video games like CSGO or Apex Legends, you probably don't even know how you're breathing during your fights, if at all. So we actually don't even know if this is a normal tendency in gaming or not. But what we do know is that people who exhale upon action tend to have faster reaction times, albeit by around 30 milliseconds, right? But that can be significant in gaming. And you can try this out in games yourself, which is what I did, but you may find that the act of you thinking about the breathing actually distracts you, slows you down, and then makes your reaction time even slower than it was before, which is obviously an issue. So perhaps this is better if it's involuntary rather than voluntary. Also, if you're constantly forcing inhales and exhales during fights, you might end up getting lightheaded and then you just pass out halfway through the game, which also isn't good for your success in the game or for your health. But go ahead and give it a try. I mean, it may just make your gaming session a little more fun next time, or it may just ruin it completely. I'd say give it a try. It was a little fun, but it doesn't really provide any major benefit, in my opinion. But the study shows that reaction time can be affected by your breathing patterns. So this could be an area of future research that people should look at, but given the history of video game research, it likely will not happen. And as always, stay mindful, and I'll see you all in the next episode.